Greetings and welcome to a spooky edition of Lessons with Odin. Today, I will be showing you how to make these bat head earrings. They are adorably cute and spooky and adorable, and I freaking love them. This is going to be part of a series for this month of Octoberween. We got 3 parts going on, and eventually you will have the skills to create this adorable shibori bat pendant. Woo. So for this week, we're going to learn how to make the head part on here. Next week, we're going to learn how to put the fabric on our piece and make a little bit of a border around our piece. And then last week, I'm just gonna kind of go through it like a speed paint, and I'm gonna show you what I did in order to embellish it and finalize it, and yes. So for those of you who are also not patient like me, there will also be a guideline, a PDF tutorial on down below as well, and it will go over this version. And if I get to it, I'm gonna try and also make the bat in-flight version so that you guys can try and experiment with other designs. So yes. And if you follow along with me, be sure to join us on our Facebook group and share pictures of your bat head earrings, because I would love to see what you do. I will leave a link for that down below. And of course, there's also some new Skillshare classes happening this month. I'm going to be focusing on the Harvest Pumpkin, so if you want to join us down for that, I will leave a link to the Skillshare class down below as well. Lovely festive things happening. So, for this project you will need size 11 Delicas beads, size 15 rounds, 4 baby spikes. These are the 5x8s, I believe, is the actual size of them, but teeny spike beads. 4 true 2mm beads. Now with these, I used them right here. My intention was to make them resemble fangs, but they kind of look like eyes. But I don't know. If you want to include them, that is where I've included them. I've used true 2mm, but you can also replace that with just another Delicas. 2 ear wires. You will also need 2 pear-shaped fancy stones, and these are 14mm. I'm using the color cyan. That is what they look like. I'm not sure if any other brands make this shape, but I have used Swarovski just for simplicity. And your needle and thread. Let us get started. Now for this project, we're going to start off with a Peyote bezel starting piece. I'm not going to go over how to do that because I have other videos to do that. I'm using the 2 needle method. I will leave a link or a card right up here somewhere so you guys can check that out. So look at that video and come back and I will show you how to do this part. So for our starting bezel, we're going to have 6 regular Delicas beads. So this is used with 2 Delicas, 1, 2 Delicas, 1, 2 Delicas, 1, etc. 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then the next stitch, we're going to have one of our true 2mm on one side, and then a Delicas on the other side of our needle. Close them together. Then 2 in the center. Then another one of the true 2mm on the same side. Don't worry too much if they end up on other sides, because the peyote tends to twist, but just as long as in the final result you have them both on the same side, that's what you want. So after that, we're going to do 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 regular stitches before joining them together. So we want a total of 15 stitches. We have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So once you have your starting band set up, we're going to join the 2 ends together so that we end up with a ring. So I have my right thread. I'm going to put it in the right bead over here. Then I'm going to take my other needle and put it in the other bead, so that I have a join here. I'm going to move a few beads forward on each thread so that I can secure it in place and that my piece doesn't pop out like that. So once I have my ring completed, I'm going to work on the back of the bezel first, the one that is opposite of the true 2mm beads, the ones that have just Delicas all the way around. I'm going to start another row of Peyote just by adding on one size 15, skipping over to the next Delica bead on the row. And I'm going to repeat that until I get to the center bead here. Okay, so this is where I currently am at. You can see that there is a gap directly in the center, and the easiest way to spot it is if you check in between the true 2mm beads on the other side. This one you'll have 1, 2, 3 gaps of the Delicas. We're going to take the center gap and just completely skip over it. So I'm going to pass through the absolute center Delica and then move up back to where our row begins. So now we've jumped over the space and there's no size 15 in there. Then we can continue our peyote stitch by adding on one size 15 and moving on. So now you can see size 15, nothing, size 15. Go ahead and finish adding size 15s to the other Delica gaps. And when we've done our last bead, we're going to step up so that we end up in the size 15 rounds. And my thread is currently coming out of a size 15 bead. We're going to add another row of size 15s. We're just going to keep going until we get to the center again. So you can see with my next row, my current size 15s are now sandwiched in between the previous row of size 15. So now I'm currently at the size 15 in between this giant gap over here. So next we're going to add 2 size 15 beads and jump all the way over, cross that gap to the next size 15 seed bead. So we have those two positioned in the center there. Then we're going to finish up our bezel by adding the size 15s in between the next size 15s like we've been doing. That is what our finished side will look like. That's our back in completion. Now we're going to flip it over and work with the other thread on the front of our pendant, and we're going to do pretty much the same thing. We're going to add size 15 seed beads, but we're going to stop when we get to our first true 2mm bead. So for me, where my position is at, I'm only going to be adding 1, 2, 3, 4 beads to start before I have to do something different. So I'm going to add a 15, move it over, and start my peyote stitch there. Okay, so I've just stopped, and I've added my last seed bead there. I've gone through the true 2mm. I'm going to add one more size 15, and then I'm going to be at the absolute center of my piece. Then what I'm going to do is completely skip over this Delica bead here, and I'm going to move down to the center bead of my piece and then up through the next Delica over. You see where my thread is coming out of? Thread is currently coming out of this bead, but we're going to move down the next bead and up the next bead. Then from here, I'm going to add on one size 15 and continue my peyote stitch all the way around. Then, after I've added my last size 15 bead, I'm going to move up to the next one and step up to the first size 15 bead on this round. And then we have our first row. Then what I'm going to do is mush in my fancy stone and begin a second stitch. However, I'm going to stop at the size 15 bead here, which is in the center. This is where we've skipped. So I'm going to start here and move up until I'm here. Which for me, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm done. So 4 beads, and I will be right on top of the true 2mm here. So this is where my thread is currently at. It's coming out of the previous size 15 on this round. What I'm going to do is add on 2 size 15 seed beads this time, and jump all the way over to the next size 15. Cinching it together. Don't worry too much if it doesn't fit in place. We're going to reinforce the round afterwards, and everything will be stuck. So then from here you can continue on your peyote all the way around. Then once you have completed that, we're going to reinforce by passing through everything all the way around again. So now we're going to work on attaching all of our findings and such. Now, directly across from the center bead on this bale, the Delica bead, there is a set of 4 Delica beads here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. What we want to do is to make our way over to our next bead set to attach our ears. So, from here, I'm just going to move up and over, like that. So currently my thread is coming out of this bead here. I'm going to move up 1 so that I can work on attaching the first ear. So now my thread is coming out of this bead, and we're going to be working with this pair to attach the spike to. We're going to work with these 2 to attach one side. We're going to jump over the next pair and move to the third pair down in order to finish the spike. I'm going to start off by adding 1 size 15, 1 spike, 1 size 15. Then coming from this thread, I'm going to jump over this one and move to the next one down. Like that. So that my spike sits across those 2 peyote sets. And we have half of our ear attached. Now I'm going to move back around. So since my thread is coming out of this bead here, I'm just going to move up, changing direction to the bead next over. I'm going to add 1 more size 15 and pass directly through the spike bead. Then add 1 more size 15 and move to the opposite of the set of beads that we were at. So you can see how this ear started off. Coming from this bead, we have our size 15 up here. I'm going to finish off our thread coming out of this one. And then we have anchored our first ear. So you can see we have our 2 Delica beads down here, above 2 size 15s. On the opposite side, 2 Delica beads down here, and our 2 size 15s opposite. Be sure to keep your thread tension tight, and if you want to add more security, feel free to do so. So now we're going to work on attaching the bale. And you can see we are currently coming out of the set of 2 right next to the center set of 4 here. So I'm just going to pass right up through that single bead. I'm going to add on 4 size 15 seed beads and jump over to the next single bead on our peyote. So that we end up with a little loop like that. Our threads coming out of the 2 single beads and the loop sandwiched on top of the 2 beads on the bezel. Now from here I'm at the single bead on our peyote. I'm going to move forward to one of the doubles and attach my second ear. So then I've added 1 size 15, 1 spike, 1 size 15. I'm going to jump over the next set of Delicas, and I'm going to move over to the next set of 2 Delicas. Then I've got one side of my ear anchored. Then I'm going to move over and change direction by passing through the adjacent Delica bead. Then I'm going to add 1 size 15 and pass through the spike bead. Add on 1 more size 15 and pass through the next pairing. You see where my first size 15 came out of, right here. We're just going to move right here next over. And that is what you end up with. You're going to go ahead and end your threads, and then attach an ear wire to that bale right here. And then you should have your completed pair. revel in your work because these are the cutest things ever. But feel free to join me next week when we continue our Shibori adventures. So that'll do it for this week's edition of Spooky Lessons with Odin. Be sure to share pictures of what you've created on our Facebook group. We would love to have you in there, and if you have any other spooky beading adventures that you plan on doing, be sure to share with everyone there. I will leave links down below, and don't forget to check out the Skillshare classes happening this week, involving the pumpkin bezel, which is a really pretty bezel, and I really enjoyed this piece. So, we will see you there. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and of course, if there's anything I need to be trying out right now, feel free to leave me a comment down below, and I will see you next time.